are there any plans in the future for an organized protest to pressure Pakistan for the release of Aneeqa Ateeq? Um, I'm in Australia, so we don't have a strong ex-Muslim. We do. I actually did think about it, but then I want to do it. I want to coordinate it where we can do it all together. I think Britain and in America in front of Washington. I think that's where it matters the most. Australia is a small country, so probably wouldn't draw any attention. So uh, we could possibly do it at some point.
Also,
But
I think we've kind of just behind the scenes, what I'm hearing is a number of people are involved in helping with that case. And as of now, the consensus is doing any kind of protest like this to put pressure on them is actually going to be counterproductive. We're in the middle of the appeal, which we need to kind of hone in on because it's the same lawyer that actually got her convicted in the first place. So a lot of the focus right now is on dealing with the family privately and trying to get legal representation to make sure that the appeal is as successful as possible. And we don't want to kind of hinder any of that process by doing these kind of isolated protests, whether it's in Washington or in London or in Australia, as of now. But if anything changes and the situation in the legal case changes, then for sure. Because at the moment, it just looks like her safety and that the amount of time she will spend in prison is up for grabs at the moment. And we want to make sure that's minimal before we start turning to routes where we want to apply media pressure, whether it's on social media or international governments speaking up or trying to get media attention. So I think for the meantime, the lid is just on that because of the status of the case at the minute.
yeah, so uh, it's always a double-edged sword for us because if we do something, we make too much noise. Sometimes it can backfire, and then it hits the news, and then Pakistani public, they put pressure on the government not to release them, and it puts government in a bit of a corner, so they can't really get out of that. So Pakistan government doesn't want to execute these people. They don't. They want to actually quietly send them overseas. That's what the government wants to do. So what they do, they deliberately, silently. Now at the same time, they can't really force the courts, lower courts, session courts, judges. It's easier and safer for judges to just give them death sentences. Otherwise they become a target. So by the time matter goes to High Court and Supreme Court, judges are better protected there. They release them on some technical grounds or something, and they quietly do that. Same thing that they did with Asia Bibi as well, and there's so many others as well who are reaching that threshold where they might be released. There are some people who've been in prison for nearly 10 years now. This Christian pastor became, I think his name was Sarfraz, I think. He's become the longest serving blasphemy prisoner. The Junaid Hafiz has been in prison since 2014. There's some others have been from 2017. So they'll have to wait about 9-10 years usually, and then it goes to High Court and Supreme Court, and they get released so they can just fly out of Pakistan. So Pakistan government actually doesn't want us to do it, but they don't actually say that to us directly either because they don't want to create any evidence. So it's a double-edged sword. If you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So that's why we have to approach it a bit carefully.
Also, I just want to say on this point, if secular Sekai, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, if you are involved in this in any way or you know other contacts, there are siblings from another family who are about to also get done for blasphemy, and they are looking to leave the country, leave Pakistan as soon as possible. So we're actually in the middle of looking for sponsors for them in any Western country, literally where a family is willing to sponsor them. I've got all the details. I can't share it publicly just now because I haven't edited it out, but basically they are all vaccinated, and they were kind of involved in hiding Asia Bibi as well. So you can imagine what their community has done to them, basically. But things got so bad that in the middle of the night, they had to leave their town completely, and they are in hiding as we speak. And they're being funded by Pakistanis abroad at the moment. But they are, anybody reports them to their police or their location is known, and that's it. It's pretty much the same situation that Aneeqa Ateeq is facing. And they are 27, I think, 24 and 21. one, respectively, the three siblings. If you know of any people who are willing to sponsor families or know of any countries that would be open to taking them on, then please get in touch via email, because that is also ongoing. Anita Ateeq's case is very important, but there's so many who are just on the cusp of going through the exact same thing.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.